Alright guys, welcome back to Thought Factory. This is where, if you haven't joined me, so this is where what I do is I watch Inside Star Citizen, normally for the first time, and I give my thoughts and opinions on it. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
The Ninetales are professional criminal operators with a high skill level, but what makes them different is kind of how they don't care about hiding their activities. They're a little bit flashier than you would expect. They're running gambling rings and stealing and doing protection rackets. The big mystery right now is everyone's trying to figure out what their motivations and goals are.
This is about Ninetales. 9 lives, okay.
When the Ninetales go out and they do certain missions, it's very clear that they know exactly what they're doing, that they've trained, that they've actually done drills for the exact situation that they're going into.
When the Ninetales debuted in Terra, it was a very big, splashy kind of attack on a prison transport where they captured a syndicate boss,
killed a bunch of Terra police to do it,
only to execute him 2 days later with a shot in the head, and everyone was very confused.
They're audacious.
So they free this man, this syndicate boss, only to shoot him in the head. Okay. So just because you're getting rescued by Ninetales, don't get happy.
They're bold, they're violent, and they're good at what they do.
So I wonder if, you're going to have organizations that pop up, in Star Citizen, ran by players, that are going to kind of be like this as well. They're going to be like gangs and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool, and I definitely look forward to that, gameplay. And this is why, security is going to need to be it's a big part of your organization or whatever. Even if you're a private person, you just do your own thing. You're an individual. You don't want to be a part of no org or anything. I think you're still going to have to rely on some kind of security, whether it be the UEE. You're going to have to stay in more lawful areas. Hopefully the unlawfulness is not in a lawful system. So hopefully more of the crazy stuff happens in unlawful systems. But anyways, yeah. So, I think security is definitely going to be a big part.
Over the past few years, the Ninetales has started to terrorize the Stanton system around Crusader,
using Grimhex as their sort of current base of operations.
If you've gone to Grimhex, you've seen their tags.
They want you to know who they are.
Okay, so MBK, so I guess that's Ninetales. I don't know what the BK stands for.
Know who you're messing with. They kind of advertise as basically
let me know in the
warning
comments.
of hey, don't mess with me, because you'll bring down the wrath of the gang.
These are like the Hell's Angels
who are playing the game. They're in with the Ninetales is through Rudo, who's a criminal fixer operating in Grimhex.
He has sort of his own agenda too, but he does hire out for the Ninetales.
So when the Ninetales don't want to risk their own members or need a little extra help on a job, they contact Rudo, and Rudo puts them in touch with people in the know. And that way they don't have to work with them directly. They don't have to expose their organization. Rudo arranges everything. And, he has his own level of protection, talking through the holograms and all kind of that keeps a buffer between his clients and the operator.
So this is Rudo. Okay, I guess this is the confidence that he has in you, the affinity, add to favorite, biography, the info agent, Ninetales, advocacy, that's the rivals. So this guy looks like he's wearing a UEE airform. Looks like he's wearing a UEE uniform. So is this guy like a UEE officer that's working for Ninetales? Is that what's happening here? That's what it looks like.
Operators he hires.
Outside of potentially picking up missions for the Ninetales from Rudo, you might have run into them if you helped clear out a blockade at a space station, a lockdown event. dynamic event that happened
Some of our
few
guys
months
have done
ago,
that, yeah.
where the Ninetales gang basically moved in a giant kind of like dampener, a quantum dampener, to an area around a space station, which meant quantum traveling in and out of that area was restricted.
Since the Ninetales did their lockdown of the cross-state system of these rest stops, they may seem like they've been a little bit quiet.
Which has kind of made some happy around Crusader, because the gang has been a constant thorn in the side of the company for years. There was a really big fear that during the Fleet Week event at Orison, that the Ninetales might do something that could jeopardize the event in general. But their silence isn't treated as a good thing by everyone within the company. There's some deep fears that them kind of going quiet and kind of stepping back out activity for the past few weeks could be a symbol of something bigger to come. I would say that the officials at Orson are a bit on edge about what the Ninetales are up to right now.
The Ninetales are becoming
Discord.
perennial adversaries to the good, hardworking people of Stanton. And as many recent testers of PTU may already be aware, are currently building up their forces for a potential new assault in the coming weeks when Alpha 317.2 comes online, which we'll all be learning more about throughout the rest of this month. But what about those in lives outside of the dangers and controversies of combat? For space truckers and the like, the commodity kiosk is where small fortunes can be made, and it's one of the last remaining systems still unconverted to building blocks. Until now. Now let's take a look at a still very nascent work converting this system and ensuring a few quality of life fixes players have asked for get integrated along the way.
As part of the upcoming cargo refactor, this was the perfect time to go back and update the old commodity kiosk UI. The core philosophy for the rework is tell the player what's going on above all else, so that they can make their informed decisions and plan for the future. The commodity kiosk is the method that players use when they are trying to load cargo onto their ship so that they can trade between locations, etc. It is a kiosk that is often situated in either a trade and development district or in the admin office of a space station or outpost server or something like that. We like that the current commodity kiosk is stable. Other than that,
I cannot wait until these screens right here in the back, hopefully you can see that, with all the information on it. I can't wait till those actually work, where you can see the rise and fall, kind of like the stock market of prices. You know, what's like, you would come here, a true trader, come here, look at the screen, see what's going on, and then, decide, okay, this is what we need to trade. This is how we're going to make our money. I think it needs to involve skill. I don't think it just needs to involve someone buying something, going somewhere, selling high. And maybe eventually make your own prices, like, go and buy something and then decide what you want to sell it for and barter a little bit. But, you got to also understand that, they may not buy it from you if you're selling too high. So you got to make a profit, though.
we like that the current commodity kiosk is stable. Other than that, honestly, the layout of it does a lot to actually harm our gameplay. It does not show commodities on it when they are out of stock, or when they are full stock, or when the player doesn't have it in their ship. Essentially, a lot of times players will say, you have removed X from this shop, or X shop is not working.
Yeah, it's kind of buggy. So I mean, it's stable, but at the same time, sometimes it's buggy, especially when you grab it. You got to buy something. You thought you bought it, and it has some kind of error processing or something.
When in reality, it's just that someone on another server has recently interacted with that shop, and as a result, it's looking like it basically has nothing in it. The biggest thing that we're going to be changing is that if an item is at full and you are trying to sell to the shop, it will still show as in the inventory. If an item is empty, as in someone has purchased all of it, we will just show it on there as being empty. You will be able to go to a shop and know exactly what it is going to normally buy and sell, in order to plan your trade routes and such, even if currently the shop is not in a state where it can trade in that commodity. We're also going to be showing things that are in your ship, but the shop doesn't want or can't want or considers illegal, so that you can know that there's not a bug occurring, basically. So that you can see that, yes, I do in fact have quite
Makes
a bit
sense.
of iron in my hold, and it's not missing. Something hasn't gone wrong. It's just that this shop doesn't trade.
Okay, so let's look at this a little bit. Commodities. This is you, right here on the left, obviously. And then this is browse shop. This is the kiosk on the right, or the place you're selling to or buying from on the right. And I guess he's selling copper. And this is how much he has, which is 2,345. And then this is how much he could, or this is where he could sell. So I'm not sure what all that means. Someone would have to explain that to me. But I'm not sure what these boxes mean. What do these boxes mean? I guess we'll figure that out.
Particular commodity. We are also going to do a little bit of a visual tweak. We're going to create a few variations. There's going to be, if you're in Grimhex, kind of a hacked version that looks a little bit more cruddy.
Well, of course.
If you're in the trade and development district, or one of the more fancy.
See, what is this? Your inventories. Cutlass Black 1. It says 28 of 30 SCU, 93%. We got some boxes here. Is that the type of freight that's on there? Is that what that is? Okay, so that's the money. That's what that is. Okay, so that's the money. So, in demand, agricultural supplies. And that's selling for 80,000. So agricultural supplies over here, critical demand. So you got critical demand, high demand, mild demand, low demand. Okay, so obviously, okay, so that's cool. So this is critical demand, so it's good to sell agricultural supplies because this place demands a lot of that. So maybe they'd be paying more. Herbal remedies, no demand. Okay, so buy, sells. I'm just looking here. Prohibited. So obviously you can't sell widow here. There's no market here for copper. So obviously I guess they don't buy copper. Oh, there's no market for it. No demand. There's no demand for herbal remedies. In demand. So this is the stuff that's in demand. Okay. I kind of got it, I guess. I'm still not sure what these boxes are, but we'll find out, I guess.
Areas to buy commodities. Then we will have a bit more of a showroom floor, fancy Godiva chocolate looking thing. It's intended to kind of give a little bit more flavor. But also to emphasize to you that the feel of the commodities that you are trading in at that location. And this is just step one of our improvements in.
Okay, so let's go back to this.
And this is
just. No, there we go. Okay, so we got it changed a little bit. So it's widow, antibiotics. So there's no demand. Again, agricultural supplies is critical demand. I like that. I really do. I like that. I just wish I knew what those boxes were. XX. Oh well, we'll find out. I don't know.
And this is just step one of our improvements in the trading gameplay loop. Stay tuned, traders and haulers. Help is coming.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned more about who and what the Ninetales are, how they operate, what their intentions might be for the stand system and the like, and that commodity kiosks are currently getting some much needed quality of life improvements for traders. And it's also a very good time to make your feedback known up on Spectrum. Now don't forget, this weekend is First Contact Day, as well as the newly anointed International Bar Citizen Weekend. Be sure you check out the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website for details on the when and where of this weekend's events. And we'll be back here next week for this year's Alien Week festivities with a look at the current progress inside of the Banu Merchantman. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. This is the 8th floor of the Manchester Goods Yard building, 2nd floor of our new UK offices overall, and where most of the Squadron 42 team is currently expected to be. I can't wait to just bug Nate Dearsley every single day. See y'all next week.
All right, guys. Well, that wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the best. They didn't bring out a whole lot of new stuff or anything. That no new ship announcements, no new newer stuff really. Just kind of a rework of the trading kiosk and stuff like that. But and Ninetales. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me, and you guys have a safe one. Stay safe, Knights.